When you picture an ape, what comes to mind? A large, hairy, ferocious beast. Perhaps a primate that swings through trees with grace and agility? Orangutans certainly fit the bill when it comes to being fierce and excellent climbers. But they also have qualities that make them stand out among other apes, like their reddish fur, round faces, and most notably their brains. Orangutans are among the most intelligent creatures in the animal kingdom. So much so they're known as the gardeners of the forest. But how do they live up to this title? Let's find out in today's video. No one. Orangutans are highly intelligent primates. This means they possess some abilities typically associated with humans, such as problem-solving skills. When researchers at the University of Queensland placed a bunch of sticks next to a bunch of boxes, each containing a food reward, the orcas figured out how to use the sticks to open the boxes. They had never seen this particular task before, yet they quickly learned that poking a stick into a box would cause the box to open, allowing them to grab the treat inside. Similarly, if orangutans need something just out of reach, they'll use whatever tools they have on hand to get it. If that means stacking boxes on top of one another to reach a coveted prize, then by gum, they'll do it. Orangutans don't just use tools when necessary, though. Sometimes they use them for fun. Researchers have witnessed orangutans playing with sticks, rocks, and even water. They may toss objects into the water and then fish them out, seemingly just for the pleasure of interacting with their environment. Some orangutans even fashion sticks into spears to fish for bugs. Not only does this show their intelligence, but their creativity too. Their intelligence has led to them becoming the gardeners of the forest. Orangutans disperse seeds in two main ways. First, they consume the soft inner flesh of fruits and then pass the seeds through their digestive system, excreting them far away from the parent tree. Second, they sometimes cache or hide food. They will take the fruit, wrap it in leaves, stash it away in a tree hole, and then forget about it. However, they don't always remember where they hid their stashes, which leads to the seeds sprouting in random places all over the forest floor. And because there are so many seed banks within the forest, there's always going to be a new crop of trees coming up. Number 3. Orangutans are solitary animals. Even though they are highly intelligent, complex creatures, they're generally quite solitary, only coming together to mate. While living alone might sound lonely, it's actually beneficial for the orangutans. See, females will usually claim a large section of forest to call their own. This territory contains everything they need, including food, water, and potential mates. Because orangutan males mature later than females, the young males will stay in their mother's territory until they're around 8 years old. At that point, they'll leave to establish their own home range. Since they can travel up to 2 miles between trees, they often end up overlapping territories with other males. Though they may share space, however, they keep their distance from one another. Generally speaking, orangutans prefer to avoid confrontation. If another male enters their space, they may scream, show their teeth, or throw sticks and stones. Rarely will they actually attack. That said, competition for mates can lead to aggression. Sometimes a male will forcibly mate with a female multiple times, causing her to bleed. If she doesn't ovulate during these encounters, he'll continue trying until she does. Number 4. Orangutans build new nests every night. Orangutans sleep while hugging their knees to their chest, in a nest made of leaves and twigs.
Ow.
They build a new nest every evening, though, so they have a nice, comfy place to sleep. They construct the nests high up in the trees, using their impressive arm strength to pull down leafy branches and vegetation. They rearrange the leaves and branches to make a circular bed and sometimes line the bottom with particularly soft leaves for comfort. Depending on where they're located, the nests may also function as shelters from the rain or from the harsh sun. Each nest takes an average of 40 minutes to complete and a lot of energy to build. That's why orangutans like to nap and sleep in them throughout the day in between bouts of eating and playing. While it seems cozy, it's not always safe. Tree-dwelling animals like snakes, monitor lizards, leopards, tigers, and indeed orangutans prey on one another. So it pays to be wary. In fact, leopards have been known to stalk orangutans at night and kill them. If a leopard happens upon an orangutan's nest, it'll likely empty it. Luckily, the orangutan probably won't be home for a few more hours. If it finds its nest destroyed, it'll simply build a new one somewhere else. No. 5 orangutans have big, round faces and dark eyes. They almost look cute. That's thanks to their round face shape, which they share with their close relative, the chimpanzee. On top of that, orangutans have forward-facing eyes. This gives them binocular vision, meaning they can see things in 3 dimensions. This comes in handy when leaping from branch to branch, as it allows them to judge distances accurately. Orangutans have dichromatic vision, however. Humans have trichromatic vision, meaning we can perceive red, blue, and green wavelengths of light. But orangutans can only see yellow and blue hues. Interestingly, their vision is similar to that of nocturnal animals. This is because they tend to be active during the day, sleeping at night. No. 6 orangutans have exceptionally long arms. All great apes have longer arms than legs, but the orangutan takes the cake. Literally has the longest arms of any great ape, although the average length varies depending on whether you ask the males or the females. Male orangutans have arms around 7 feet long, while females measure in at around 6 feet long. These long limbs help the apes swing through trees with ease. Since they're so long, the apes can hold their bodies up higher off the ground, making it easier to balance. Being able to get leverage also helps. Overall, the apes are incredibly agile, allowing them to move quickly from tree to tree. In the wild, this ability is helpful for evading predators and catching prey. In captivity, it makes for one heck of a circus act. Historically, orangutans were forced to perform in circuses around the world, where people would marvel at their ability to do tricks and ride bicycles. Although there's evidence that dates back to at least the late 1800s. And number 7. Orangutans recognize themselves in the mirror. One of the signs of intelligence in an animal is its ability to recognize itself in the mirror. Self-recognition is a sign of self-awareness. Only a handful of species are known to exhibit this behavior. Great apes, dolphins, African gray parrots, and magpies, for example, are capable of recognizing themselves in the mirror. Researchers have tested orangutans' self-awareness by placing a dot of red lipstick on their faces and then putting them in front of a mirror. At first, the apes would try to remove the mark by rubbing their face against the glass. However, once they saw that rubbing didn't work, they started looking behind them to figure out where the mark was coming from. Once they realized it was their own face, they spent a lot of time staring at themselves. How do we know they realized it was themselves? Well, it took them longer to figure out that the mark wasn't coming from someone else. Essentially, they experienced a level of surprise when they realized the reflection was theirs, which indicated that they understood it was themselves they were looking at. The orangutan is clearly a very smart creature, which is why it's no wonder they're able to use tools and solve problems. But sadly, they're disappearing from the planet. This means that unless we take action now, future generations might not ever get to see these beautiful creatures. As we end today's video, let us know your thoughts on the orangutan. Do you think they're clever? Why or why not? What other interesting facts about them did we miss? Be sure to like and subscribe for more incredible videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. The wild is full of stories of power, survival, and beauty. There's nothing untamed about them. Yeah, they're wild, just like us. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe for free and join the adventure.